Welcome to part 7 of how to set up your RHaas robot package. I'm Corey Sullivan, and in this video, we'll learn how to use custom sequence type. Custom sequence type allows you to create your own set of motions and implement them into your part program instead of using Simple Mode's pre-programmed APL sequence. In custom mode, you will call your motion files in your part program using an M300 code with a P code followed by the alias code assigned to the motion file you want to call. To turn on custom sequences, go to the Template tab. On Sequence Type row, press Enter and select Custom Sequence. When Sequence Type is set to Custom, the Load Part tab and Unload Part tab will be replaced by a single Custom tab, and the initial pickup location, move to Above Table, and Drop-Off location rows will move to the Template tab. The Custom tab is where you will create your motion files to be used in your custom APL sequence. At the bottom of the tab, you can see all available actions. Insert will insert a new row, Delete will delete a row, and Alter will rename a row. Origin will clear the entire table, deleting all rows. Pressing Enter on a blank row will open up a pop-up so you can select a motion file to load into your Custom tab. If you enter a number, then press Enter on a row with a motion file assigned to it, you will renumber that row. F2 will open the Recorder window, allowing you to record a new motion file. You can record motion files for your robot here, just like in Simple Mode. F3 will save your custom sequence set. Enter the name you want to give your custom sequence set and press F3. A pop-up will open, allowing you to select a directory to save your custom sequence set in. After you've saved your custom sequence set, you will see the name and file path of your custom sequence set appear above the list of custom sequences. If you modify any of your sequences, the name of your custom sequence set will turn red, and 2 asterisks will be at the end of the name. Saving by pressing F3 or by turning on APL mode on the Run Job tab will turn the name of your custom sequence set black again. Pressing F4 on the Custom tab will open a window allowing you to select a custom sequence set to load into your job. Now let's record a few custom sequences to use in our part program. Highlight the first row and press F2. When recording your custom sequences, you will need to command actions that you don't need to record in Simple Mode. Gripper clamping and unclamping, work holding clamping and unclamping, and anything else you would like the robot or machine to do will need to be recorded in custom sequences. I'm going to record my part pickup sequence as my first custom sequence. I'll use the pre-programmed part pickup sequence that Simple Mode uses, where the robot will run to the above table location, then down to the initial pickup location and clamp the grippers, then move back up to the above table location. This will ensure that my pickup location increments in a grid pattern using the initial pickup location, above table location, and distance between rows and columns recorded on the Template tab. To do this, I'll press Enter on the first row and select Part Pickup Drop-Off. Then I'll choose Raw Part Pickup, Raw Current, then enter 1 for gripper ID and 2 for part mass. Since this is a pre-programmed sequence, this is all I need to record for this motion file. Now I'll press Undo to close the recorder and rename this custom sequence. To rename my sequence, I'll type in Part Pickup and press Alter. I'll record my ready motion as custom sequence 2. This will just be 2 joint positions to get the robot from its position above the parts table to the position it will wait at in front of the machine. Custom sequence 3 will be my chuck load motion. I'll record this motion the same way I would record it in Simple Mode, except that I will also record clamping the main spindle chuck, then unclamping the robot gripper. My next custom sequence will be my chuck unload motion. I'll record this exactly like my chuck load motion, making sure to record clamping my robot grippers, then unclamping the main spindle chuck. My last sequence will be my finished part drop-off. Like the part pickup sequence, I'll use the pre-programmed drop-off sequence that will use my table grid and drop-off location from the Template tab. To do this, I'll press Enter on the first row and select Part Pickup Drop-Off. Then I'll choose Finish Part Drop-Off, Finish Current, then enter 1 for gripper ID. Now I'll press Enter on the second row and select Increment Part Indices. Increment Part Indices will increase the parts counter by 1. So when you command Part Pickup again, the robot will pick up the next part. That will be all of the custom sequences I need to record for my job. Let's take a look at my example program to see how to integrate your custom sequences into your part program. My example part program has two subprograms bookending my main part program. The overall structure of my part program looks like this: load part program, main part program, unload part subprogram. My first line of code, M97P10, will take us down to line 10 for the load part subprogram. Let's go down to line 10 to see what the subprogram looks like. First, I'll use an M300P1 to call custom sequence 1, which is my part pickup motion. Then I will use M300P2 to call my ready motion to move the robot in front of the door. Next, I will change tools and move the machine's internal axes to a safe position for loading my part into the chuck and open the auto door. Now I will run my chuck loading motion by using M300P3. To get my robot outside of the machine, I will run my chuck load motion in reverse by using an M300P3 R0 code. Using an R0 in an M300 code will run a custom sequence in reverse and will only run robot positions. This means that when a custom sequence is run in reverse, it will ignore things such as gripper clamping and unclamping, work holding clamping and unclamping, and more. A Q code can also be put in an M300 code to run a motion in the background. Normally when an M300 is called, the machine will wait for the sequence to finish before running the next line of code. However, when a Q code is put in an M300 code, the custom sequence will start running and the machine will keep running the part program. Multiple M300 codes can even be queued up using a Q code to run while the part program is running. This allows you to run motions while the machine is running. With my part loaded into the chuck and my robot outside of the machine, I'll use an M86 to close the auto door, then an M99 to exit the subprogram and return to the main program. Back in the main program, the next section of code is where I have my part program. My part program in this example is just the spring pusher seating the part all the way into the chuck jaws. When my part program is finished, I'll use an M97P20 to call my unload part subprogram. My unload subprogram consists of moving the machine axes to a safe location for unloading, opening the auto door, calling my unload custom sequence to pick up my part, running the unload sequence in reverse to get the robot out of the machine, running ready motion reverse to get the robot back to the parts table, then calling my drop-off custom sequence to drop off my part and increment the parts counter. When my unload subprogram is finished, I'll command an M99 to return to the main program. The only line of code at the end of my program is an M299 to return to the start of my program and loop my program until the number of completed parts is equal to my total parts. That wraps up my sample program, but keep in mind that you can do whatever you want with custom sequences. If you don't want to use subprograms, you don't have to. If you want to use macros, go for it. Custom sequences allow you to structure your program however you like. This wraps up our tutorial on custom sequences, the last video in our How to Set Up Your RHaas Robot Package series. For additional help with anything related to your robot, take a look at your operators and service manual available at RHaasCNC.com. Thanks for watching.